Okay. Good evening, everyone. I know you can hear me. I trust you can hear me. I am Hazel Rogers, your Broward County Commissioner for District 9, and it is an absolute pleasure to welcome you to this Insurance Premium Relief Seminar. You heard me say it, relief, that's what we're looking for. We're all too aware that insurance costs are skyrocketing across Florida and here in Broward County, leaving many of us feeling the financial strain. But I am committed to finding solution, and that's why I have brought together a panel of experts to share their knowledge and insight with us. So let's get started. Are you ready? First, let me introduce our guest speaker, Sharon McLennan. Sharon is a highly respected insurance professional with over 35 years of experience. She is a licensed CPA, real estate broker, and property manager, and has held various leadership positions on boards and committees related to insurance, housing, and consumer advocacy. Her expertise in personal lines and commercial habilitation risk will be invaluable to us all today. And next, we have Dulcie M. Suarez, a native of Miami Beach and a seasoned insurance professional with a wealth of experience in the industry. Her extensive background in insurance, consumer advocacy, and legislative affairs makes her an excellent resource for all of us today. And that's where I met Dulcie when I was in Tallahassee as your state rep. So throughout this seminar, our speakers will share their expertise and provide practical advice on navigating this complex world of insurance. We will explore many ways to reduce costs, manage risk, and make informed decisions about our insurance needs. Of course, thanks for joining. And at this time, let me turn the mic over to Sharon McLennan.
Thank you, Madam Commissioner, and I appreciate it. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Our format today is going to take the form of a fireside chat. I'm absolutely thrilled to have the opportunity to speak with Dulce Suarez Resnick, who is the Vice President of Accentria Insurance. With hurricane season upon us, as our Commissioner just shared, it's crucial for our homeowners to be well prepared and informed about insurance options and coverage. So without further ado, Dulce, thank you so much for joining us today. And before we dive in, I'd love to start with a little background. Can you tell us a little bit about your journey in the insurance industry and what inspired you to specialize in this field?
Well, thank you so much for having me this afternoon. And thank you, Sharon. Well, not too many of us who end up in the insurance industry chose it as our first profession. I was actually going to Miami-Dade Community College, and I was seeking the profession of medicine. I wanted to be a pediatrician because I wanted to help little children. And I had been a medical explorer, a biology honor student in high school. And unfortunately, until I ended up doing the rotations at the local hospital, I didn't realize how badly my fear of needles was, and therefore that derailed that dream. And I was working in downtown Miami, and there was an insurance agency down the block from the campus, and they had advertised for a job, and I went to interview. I ended up in the insurance industry in the personal lines division at 19 years of age. And I remember telling my mom, you know what? I really like what I'm doing. I'm helping people. I'm learning a lot. And that's what embarked me into the insurance industry. 38 years later, I not only do personal lines, I also insure a lot of condominium associations and homeowners associations. That's my commercial line specialty. But we all find our way for some reason into the insurance industry. And Sharon, you know that once you're in, you can never get out. So I decided to teach insurance, become a teacher, become an insurance advocate, and try to help as many people as possible. And that's why I'm here today. And that's why it is always my pleasure to assist Commissioner Rogers when she asks.
Well, we are grateful for your fear of needles because it has led us to a good place and you're an amazing resource for us. So, what can you tell our residents? What can they do right now to prepare for hurricane season? Because as we all know, it started June 1st. What steps should they be taking right now?
So besides all of the prep steps that we all know what to do to get ready for hurricane season, buying supplies and doing those things, you should also take a moment to pick up the phone and call your insurance agent and make sure that you understand the coverages that you have, the deductibles under your policies. If there's any changes you need to make them now, not when there's a storm that has already formed, because in many cases, there are restrictions as to increasing coverage or changing coverages once there is a storm on its way. So it's very important. If there's a coverage that you're missing, something that you need, call your agent today. Also, use your best friend. Everybody has a cell phone, right? And this is your best friend. Go out and take pictures of your house, interior, exterior pictures. Try to make a record of how the condition your home was in prior to anything happening. That way, if there is a storm, you can take pictures of give them pictures of the before and after. That'll help you very much with your claim. And try to take pictures and make notations of like your electronics and things like that. Because what happens is if something were to get damaged, you might not be able to find the documentation for it. It might be damaged and you can't find the model numbers or serial numbers, or it might be down the block. And you want to be able to have all of that handy. Make sure that you also keep extra copies of your policies. I hate to say it, but take a Ziploc bag, put a copy of your homeowner's policy and your flood insurance policy. And if you also have a separate windstorm policy, some of us do that live east of 95, then you put that in that Ziploc bag and you say, this goes in my hurricane supply box. So when the storm comes, I know I have everything I need. And that's what I would tell everyone to do now. But most importantly, please pick up the phone, call your insurance agent, have a conversation about your coverages and your deductibles now.
That's great advice. Thank you for sharing that. How would the average person though know what is an appropriate level of coverage for them? How do they know whether the coverage is adequate for their needs?
Well, they should have the conversation with their agent, and the agent can do a replacement cost estimate. And the agent's going to ask them a series of questions about their home, about the interior finishes, and any special features their house might have to make sure that it is properly insured. Some folks, especially if it's a new purchase, might have a copy of the appraisal that was done at the time that they purchased the home. And therefore, that makes it a lot easier. But if it's been a couple of years, it's been, 5, 10 years since you bought your home, you should definitely sit with your agent and have them run a replacement cost estimator to make sure that you are adequately insured.
Okay, that sounds great. That sounds great. And I know that one of the big challenges that we have is the cost of insurance, obviously. How can homeowners or residents know that they're receiving all the available discounts that may be out there? Is there a strategy they can use for that?
Well, first, look at your policy. On the second or third page, it's going to say rating and discount information. It's going to tell you the discounts you have. Sometimes it's easy to tell when you're getting the discount. And so, but if you have one of those policies that is not very clear, call your agent, find out, am I getting all of the credits available for my roof? Am I getting the credits for my opening protection? If for whatever reason you say, well, I know I have opening protection, I have shutters, I have panels, on my windows, or maybe you have impact glass. And if you notice that you're not getting that discount, call your agent, because there could be one opening that is preventing you from getting the discount. The way the law reads is that it's all or nothing. You can have all the windows and all the doors in your house protected, but let's say that the garage door is not to code, it's not impact rated. You will not be eligible for that discount just because of the garage door, or it could be a tiny little bathroom window that doesn't have the proper protection that then disqualifies you from those discounts. So make sure to call your agent and say, I know I have my windows covered. I went ahead, I have panels, I have accordions, whatever it is you have, why am I not? Ask them why you're not getting that credit. It could be something as simple as that you haven't turned in a windstorm mitigation report. That report highlights all of the attributes your house has that will give you the discount for opening protection or the other discount for your roof. And right now, there are 5 different features of your roof that can give you a discount.
Okay, excellent, excellent. That's good to know. So the first step is to start with the policy.
Correct. Check your policy.
Now, one of the big issues that, and a lot of my customers have had inquiry about that. Talk to me a little bit about the age of the roof and what the roof is made of and how does that impact your insurance premiums?
Well, that has been a topic that everyone has had to deal with in the last 3 years, since May of 22. The way the current legislation reads that, well, it's basically the law is if your roof is 15 years old and it has at least 5 years of remaining useful life, no insurance carrier can cancel your policy or deny you coverage, as long as you can prove that your roof has more than 5 years of remaining useful life. Now, here's where it gets tricky. Not every roof material has the same life expectancy. So a shingle roof would have a lower life expectancy than a tile roof, and a tile roof might have a little bit of a lower life expectancy than a metal roof. All those flat roofs that have a membrane covering, those last about 10 years. So here's very important. We have a lot of homeowners that have combination roofs, where the main roof of the home might be a gable roof with shingles, but then there's an addition that is a flat roof. That combination roof could cause the eligibility for insurance coverage and to be diminished because they're going to go by the flat roof. So it's very important. If you do not know what the condition
I'm
of
sorry,
your
Dulce, could you hold on a second? Michelle, can you mute your line, please? Thank you. Go ahead.
Okay. If you're not sure what the life expectancy or the condition of your roof is right now, you can have a report done. It's called Roof Condition Certification Report, and it will tell you the condition of your roof, and it'll tell you the remaining useful life of that roof. And it will assist you in making sure in showing the insurance company that you have a waterproof and a very roof, and it's in very good condition, and it is insurable. We ask this not just of our homeowners, we ask this of our shopping center owners, from our condominium association owners. Every property that has a roof needs to have this done, because that is one of the biggest issues that is preventing folks from either keeping their policies or becoming eligible for policies.
So we have a question. Can you repeat the name of the roof report?
It's called the Roof Condition Certification Report. It could only be completed by a roofer or a general contractor. But most of the inspection companies that you call and you ask them for this, they will be able to take care of that for you.
So if someone is having a challenge with getting insurance because of the age of their roof, they could hire an inspector to do an assessment for them. And if there's 5 years or more left on the life of the roof, then they have grounds for appeal. They should be able to get insurance. Is that correct?
Absolutely. And it also does another thing. It might show that there's a deficiency, right? And you didn't know about it, because not all of us get on top of our roofs to check out our roofs, on an annual basis. I mean, I'm not getting on the roof. That's the last thing I need. I will fall off the roof. So what this does is it will help you identify if there's any deficiencies. You can get those deficiencies repaired and then have a report updated, and then you can have it submitted to the insurance company. That will also help you. I actually did it not too long ago and didn't realize that when the people went up to the roof to do pressure cleaning, because our community makes us do the pressure cleaning of the roof, that when they were up there in trying to clean the roof, they actually damaged my roof a little bit. So I'm glad I did that report. I saw that there was some damage. I was able to fix it just in case, and I did it just in time before hurricane season so that my roof doesn't, spring a leak. But at least I knew about it and was able to address the issue right away.
And is any inspector able to do that, or is there a specific qualification that the inspector would have to be able to issue that report?
Most of the roof condition reports either can be done by a roofer or a general contractor, not just a regular home inspector.
Perfect. Okay, good. Thank you for that clarification. All right, so moving on, we understand the issue with the roof and the material and the flat roof challenge. For the people who are having some issues, does everyone qualify for citizens? If you get a notice of non-renewal or you don't have insurance, is citizens the way to go?
Well, the non-renewal notice helps open the door, but now we have to qualify, and they do a lot of underwriting. So they need to make sure that the house is not in disrepair, that the roof is in good condition, that basically the plumbing, the electrical, the cooling and heating, everything is in working order and in good condition. There's the biggest misconception is that, oh, Citizens is the insurance program of the state of Florida, and they're going to take everyone, and they do not. And there's where we find a lot of people get frustrated because they feel that, well, I should be given extra time to make these repairs that I have to make, and I can go into Citizens. It doesn't always work that way. So they do underwrite the risk, not as strictly as the regular companies, but we need to submit homes that are in good condition. And that means that we are us, the homeowners, need to make sure that, you know, we get any repairs done ahead of having the inspections done and being them submitted, because Citizens looks at all those inspections before we can bind the coverage sometimes.
Okay, great. That's good to know. So, one of the things I've heard folks talking about ahead of this hurricane season is the idea of hardening their homes. Could you talk to us a little bit about what hardening actually is and how someone would go about hardening their home?
So hardening our homes basically is to make them more hurricane ready or more hurricane resistant. And in South Florida, thankfully, most of our homes have concrete walls. But what we have to protect are all of the openings. So you're sealing this envelope, right? So all the windows and all the doors must have impact rated protection. It doesn't matter what type. So in Miami-Dade and Broward County, all doors, all windows, skylights, and garage doors, they must all have some kind of protection. It could be a hurricane panel. It can be something called armor screen. And it's the best way for me to explain to you what armor screen looks like. It looks almost like a trampoline material that is attached to your outside of your windows, outside of your doors, outside of your garage door. And it ricochets anything that comes flying at about 200 miles an hour. It bounces off that material. You can use that material. You can use panels. You can use impact glass, accordion shutters, any combination. In my house, I have 3 different types of protection. I have accordions, I have the regular panels, and I have some windows with impact because they're too big for me to carry the panels. So it doesn't matter what product you have to protect your home as long as it is impact rated.
Okay, great.
And then another thing for hardening your home is the roof. So you need to, now, if you've just had a brand new roof put on or you're about to put on a new roof, ask your roofer about the secondary water resistance feature and ask if you've got all of the highest discounts for the connection of that roof to the walls of the house. In the 1950s and 60s, we had clips, even into the 70s, and then they switched to single wraps in South Florida. So if you have those, or if you don't have those, ask them how much more would it cost to add that to that roofing project, because sometimes it's very little difference in price, but it can save you a lot of money on your insurance. Now, the state of Florida is trying to help all of our residents here get money, free grant money to harden your homes. The program is called My Safe Florida Home. And they will give you up to $10,000 towards upgrading your windows and doors or getting coverage for those windows and doors and for your roof. And what you need to do come July 1st is to go to www.mysafefloridahome.com and register, fill out an application to have your home inspected. They will come out, they will inspect your home, they will tell you which openings need protection, if your roof needs to be replaced, and they will let you know how much you qualify for. The maximum amount that you qualify for is $10,000. But we have folks that have most of their windows protected, but maybe their front door and the garage door isn't protected. Here's a way to be able to afford to get those openings taken care of. We have some folks that, like, I have a client of mine who's 72 years old. She's retired. She's on Social Security, and she needed to get a new roof and really couldn't afford the entire price of that roof. And she was able to get the $10,000 to help with replacing that roof.
Excellent. That's great. What about condos? Are condos on townhouses eligible to participate in that space at all?
Yes, townhouses were just added last year. So it's not just single family homes anymore. Townhouses are part of the program, and you can qualify. Condo units and condominium associations will become available July 1st. There is something called the My Safe Florida Home Condo Pilot Program. And in that program, they're working with the associations to help harden those buildings. Unfortunately, buildings in Miami-Dade and Broward County built prior to 1996 were not built to the new code. So the buildings not everybody has opening protection. Some of the roofs need to be changed. So they are helping these associations get funds that they need to make sure that those unit owners that need coverage can get that need to cover those windows, get some money towards the windows. Now there's a formula. It's no more than $750 per opening and a maximum of $1,500 per unit. But for the associations, they're going to work together to get those funds. They will pay for 50% of the project to get the entire building properly equipped with opening protection, and up to 50% off of the project of the roof. But at no time will that amount exceed $175,000 for that condominium association. So for those that live in condominium associations, get ready. July 1st is your date. I would encourage everyone to tell their condominium association manager or their president, please go online and complete the form for them to send out an inspector to check out our building and to see what funds become available. Now, I understand that sometimes a roof project might be $140,000, $150,000, and they're willing to pay you up to 50% of that roof project. But you can use those funds to go for the roof and for the windows, one way or the other, but they will come out and inspect, and they will give you a detailed report of what you qualify for.
Dulce, could you repeat the website information again, and just spell it out for our
Yes,
folks?
it's going to be mysafefloridahome.com.
Is Florida spelled out?
Yes. Nope. Hold on. Sorry. They shrunk it now. mysafeflhome.com.
Okay. All right. So we'll make sure
And the website is in English, in Spanish, and in Creole. So that there's all three languages are covered. Everybody can understand how to apply for this very, very valuable program.
Okay. All right. That's great. That's great information. I didn't know that program was out there. So just to be clear, if you're in a condo, the application would be at the condo level. It would be from the board, not the individual condominium unit owner.
Right. At this point, they haven't clarified that yet. They're currently talking about the buildings because they're going to through the buildings, they're going to fix or provide coverage for each unit owner. So it works, the condo pilot works hand in hand for the buildings and the unit owners. It is going to be handled through the association. So just to give you an example, I have a building that's built in 1974. And it's a big shame because 80% of the units have some kind of coverage on their windows that is to code, but they're missing windows. So they have the sliding glass door, they're missing, the kitchen window. They have they've had the roofs done back in 2009, but it's time again to get the roofs done. So in a building like this, they're getting the discount for the roof, but they're not getting the opening protection credit. The opening protection credit for this small building, let's call it small to medium, it's 150 units. They can save $80,000 a year on their insurance costs. But because 20% of the openings are not protected, they can't get the discount. Right now, the individual unit owners that are fully protected will get a discount for their policy, their own policy, but it doesn't help the building. So here, that what they're thinking is if the buildings are completely protected, not only does it help the building, it's going to help the individual unit owners as well. Because a copy of the report, once everything is done, will go to all the unit owners and they can get a discount for their condo policy as well. So it will help both sides.
Okay, great. Thank you for that clarification. Following in that theme, following in that line of reasoning, I know a few years ago, the PACE program was introduced. Can you talk a little bit about the differences between the PACE program and this My Safe Florida Home program?
Well, from what I understand, the PACE program gives you a way to finance the expense of doing these modifications to your home, whether it's for the hurricane windows and doors or the new roof. And it gives you a way to pay to finance that for you. The My Safe Florida Home program is free money. It's not a loan. It doesn't have to be repaid. It's not any kind of financing. So that's the difference between the two. The PACE program is a great program because it does help a lot of folks either through their financing option, or there's another option that goes onto your property taxes that you help pay for it through your property taxes. And it's been a very good program for many, many people. I will tell you that my Safe Florida program I just lost my train of thought. I saw someone ask a question. Sorry about that.
No.
The PACE program has helped a lot of people. And the My Safe Florida Home program right now, with the new rules that went into effect on July 1st, they're going to start off first. Priority to our senior citizens and low income families. This is the fourth time that the My Safe Florida Home, the regular program, okay, has been refunded, meaning they've added money to the pot. They have just added $200 million now the money will be ready July 1st for those folks. If you applied for this program and they ran out of money, which they did, we funded it in November, they ran out of money, and then they ran out of money again. If you have an application, all you need to do is go back in, log back in, and reactivate your application. Those folks whose applications were put on hold, you are going to be looked at first. But in order for them to do this, you need to log in before June 28th and make sure that your application, your pre-approved application, is still active, so that when the funding comes in, you're first in line. All new applicants will have to apply July 1st. So, but remember, July 1st, seniors and low-income families will be looked at first. We want to make sure that there's enough funding available to take care of those that really, really need some assistance to harden their homes.
All right, so that's great information. Let's just circle back to make sure that we emphasize that deadline. So one of the questions that we have in the chat is from someone who had applied back in March, and they wanted to find out if they need to reapply in July 1st, which I think you just answered their question. So please repeat for us the June 28th criteria.
Yeah. So go back, log in, and reactivate.
Okay, and as long as that application is still there and active, they don't need to reapply. Is that correct?
Correct. That's why they're asking everybody to go back in, make sure your application is active, because they will handle those applications for funding first. And that's why they want it to be done before June 28th, because come July 1st, the system opens to everyone. They would like to have those applications taken care of first.
Okay, great. So one of the comments slash questions that we have is someone wants to know if there's anything that we can do at the state level to get insurance premiums back to the way that they used to be, because everyone's complaining about increased insurance, some as much as 4 times as much as what it used to be before. What, if any, options are available?
Well, I have to tell you, the Florida legislature, December of 22, did a very, very, very heavy lift. We had been trying for almost 20 years to get tort reform. And I know that Commissioner Rogers is nodding her head, because she was there in that fight for many years. And many years we lost, right? And so finally, December of 22, they were able to file and pass legislation that would delete those I hate to say it. It eliminated the assignment of benefits, the fraud that was being caused through the assignment of benefits. It also eliminated the frivolous lawsuits that were being used to extort money basically from the insurance companies, and that kept our premiums high. We are still all paying higher premiums for the bad deeds and bad claims, fraudulent claims of others. So by them doing that, they passed that December of 22. The law went into effect April 1st of 2023. And this year, April 1st of 24, it went one full year, full circle. And that means that every insurance policy has now, upon renewal, adopted this language. So now, for the first time in 4 years, we have seen 6 insurance carriers file for a rate decrease. A rate decrease. We had lost 11 insurance carriers, because one of them was a commercial lines carrier for condominiums. We have lost 11 carriers between January of 2021 and September of 22. So think about it, 18 months, we lost 11 insurance carriers that went into bankruptcy. We have 8 new carriers coming to the state of Florida. 6 of them have already been approved, and they're ready to start doing business. It'll probably be the last quarter of 2024. Right now, those carriers are helping Citizens depopulate and taking people out of Citizens. The last 2 look like they will be approved by the end of July, and therefore we have 8 new carriers to take over. So you've got to have a little bit of patience. You will see that once there's more players in the game, more companies willing to write policies, the rates will go down. The reinsurers' forecast has been, and this was since February, and again, when I was in Washington, D.C. earlier this week, they have all reconfirmed that 2024 is a stabilization year. This is the year that you're going to see premiums stabilize. When you look at your renewals, like coming in the mail, some of the premiums have gone down a little bit. Okay, nothing to get too excited about. It's 2%, 3%, but it didn't go up. And in some cases, when they did go up, you're looking at 8%. We're not looking at 25, 30% increases as we've seen. Now, if you've had claims and your property hasn't been updated, meaning your roof is still in disrepair, it needs to be changed, you might not see a decrease. So it's really important that you consider those going to the My Safe Florida home and trying to get some assistance there and some assistance to PACE to maybe change your roofs and do the windows. But we feel that in 2025, if all goes well, I've been doing the hurricane dance outside since June 1st. Stay away, because the National Weather Service says it's going to be a very busy year, but that doesn't mean it's coming here. That means it's going to form somewhere. It doesn't mean it's going to come here. And we all have to keep very positive vibes going, okay, to keep those storms away. We just need one more year of nice weather in Florida. In 2025, they've already said you're going to see premiums go down. If you recall, after the 2003 and 2004, 2005 hurricane seasons, we had 8 storms crisscross the state of Florida. Our premiums went up in 2006, 7, 8. In 9, it stabilized. In 10, it started to go down. By 2011, our premiums were the same as they were at the beginning of 2004. Do I think we're going to see that big of a reduction? No. But I do think you're going to see that in the next 2 years, our premiums will be about 30 to 40% less if we continue on this track. And we just need to make sure that our legislators do not give up on the piece of legislation that they passed in December of 22. As a matter of fact, this year they were willing to really rethink that because they weren't sure that it was really working. And then they waited till the 1 year mark and we started to see things start to turn around. So I'm hoping 2025 is our year.
That's great
Question
news.
to you, Delcy and Sharon. Sorry to interrupt, but can you touch again on the depopulation of citizens? And was there a deadline or timeline given to citizens so we can get back out to the general public?
So yeah, they only have to do, the carriers are coming into the state, only have to do 1 depopulation with citizens in order to open up and go voluntary. And the only reason why they did that is that originally they had expected, a year and a half ago, they had expected that citizens in December of this year was going to reach 1.7 million policies. As a matter of fact, the depopulation has worked so well that as of the end of the quarter, citizens was at 1.1, almost just under 1.2 policies. So it's working. And by having these companies do this. Now, if you received a depopulation notice, and I know that a lot of people have been calling my office, and I'm sure they have been calling Sharon's office. If you received a depopulation notice and it said one price on the letter, and 2, 3 months, 4 months down the road, you get the bill from that company and the premium has gone up and it's beyond 20% higher than citizens, call your agent and see if you can get back into citizens. All is not lost. Please, now more than ever, pick up the phone and call your agent because there's a chance for you to return to citizens if that is still the least expensive price in the marketplace, okay?
All right, great. That's great information. I'm just trying to make sure that we touch on all of the questions that are popping up here.
That's quite all right.
Someone asked, going back to the My Safe Florida grant, someone was asking how long do they have to stay in the home? Is there a time limit in how long they have to stay in the home after receiving the grant?
Well, I don't know about that. I do know that this has to be their primary residence. It has to be their homesteaded property in order for them to qualify. And remember, the process takes a while. So you might submit in July, they might not get to you till August or September. So I can't really give you a deadline on that because it was meant for people that it's for their primary residence. It's not for investment property.
Excellent. Okay, great. And I think we had one person asking that they joined late. How do they apply? Would you mind going over the
Sure.
application
Just
process?
go to mysafeflhome.com. Okay, mysafeflhome.com on July 1st, if you're applying for the very first time, and go in and complete the application. It is about 2 pages. It's not a very long application. The next thing that will happen is that you will receive an email from them and they will set up an appointment for one of their inspectors to come out and do the inspection. And then at that point, they'll do their inspection. That report will go to My Safe Florida Home as well as to you so that you know what you qualify for. And they have a list. When you go online, you will see a list of the different contractors that are participating with My Safe Florida Home that can do the windows and doors and the roof.
Okay, perfect, perfect. Another question here. Well, one quick point. Dulce, would you mind sharing your contact information? Letting them know how they could get in touch with you if someone had a question after the call.
Sure, I will put it in the chat.
Okay, great. And then we have here someone asking if it applies to condos. I know we went through that already. There is a program for condos. Dulce, touch on that one more time for me, please.
There is the new program that will be effective July 1st. It's the My Safe Florida Home Condo Pilot. And this is going to be through the associations, and each unit owner who needs help will be helped out as a whole through the association. The state of Florida has provided $30 million. Is not a lot of money. They have provided $30 million to try to help as many associations as possible. If you do the math, $175,000, which is the maximum grant for an association, $30 million, that's about 460 condo units, condo associations, excuse me. We have at least 600 condos just in Miami-Dade County, Miami Beach, Miami-Dade, Key Biscayne. So they have vowed that if this does work, they will fund it just like they've done to the regular program, and they will continue funding it. So maybe next time, instead of getting 30 million, we'll get 200 million that they just gave to the regular program. But they want to see associations take advantage of it. They want to track and see how much of a discount these associations are going to get. I'm telling you, my small association, 154 units, that spelled for them, if they could get this done, about $80,000 off their insurance bill. And that's very helpful for them.
Excellent. Well, I just want to thank you for sharing this amazing information. I think we've covered all the questions in the chat, and certainly we've covered all the questions I have for you. So without further ado, Madam Rogers, I will turn it back over to you if you have any closing remarks that you'd like to make before we let these good folks go about their evening.
All right. Thank you, Sharon and Dulcie. Awesome. I knew you would make this happen. I know everyone would say was worth my time, the time that I've invested, the information that you have shared. I want to make one statement, however. The PACE program is not a Broward County program.
Bye.
Okay. And a lot of, going around using the logos. So we had to do, the attorneys had to get involved. So I'm asking you, double check when they're talking about the contractors that they're using. You still have the right to choose the contractor of choice. All right. Just remember you have that option. Call someone double check on the prices they're charging, because you're paying it, whether or not you pay it up front or later on, there's going to be a lien on your property for it. So you're paying. So just remember, it's your your dollars, hard-earned dollars, that is remodeling your homes. No one is giving that grant, is not free. You have to repay. So just make sure you double check and check the contractors, check, the Better Business Bureau, do what you have to do to make sure you're working with someone that will do the right job. Whatever they represent, they will do. So just want to say once again to my staff, thank you for coordinating. As always, we are here to share information. We want to make sure our district have the information first. Okay, so that's why we're out there. Everything we do, we want to be the best at it. And it's all about answering questions and making sure we provide the right resources to benefit District 9 and Broward County at large. So once again, let me say thank you for joining and spending time. My district number, office number, 954-357-7009, 954-357-7009. And of course, my email, Hazel Rogers, H. Rogers, come on, Marlon, hazelrogers.com, hazelrogers@broward.org. That's it. Just wanted you to have everything. I share my numbers. Oftentimes I share my cell. So my staff is telling me to slow down on sharing my cell. So I won't share it there. 90 people on this call. I don't need 90 calls coming into my personal cell, but you can call my office number 954-357-7009. And of course, Sharon and Dulcie, they have information that we don't have in the office. So if you think you need some more questions answered, and if their numbers are in that chat, it's for you to utilize it.
Well, we have one more question, Madam Rogers, before we go. There's one person, just to close out their final question. Is there a time frame that you can get your insurance reinstated when you cancel your condo insurance due to a large increase? Dulcie, you're muted.
Well, it depends on the carrier. Some companies allow a couple of days grace period. Citizens gives you about 10 days to make that payment. If it's a renewal, if you forgot to send in the payment or you picked yourself off the floor because you saw how much the price was and you needed a minute. But they give you some time. Call your agent, find out if you can still make the payment. Some carriers are willing to work with a lot of its policyholders, but it differs by carrier.
Okay, great. Well, I think we've met the requirements today. Dulcie, thank you so very much. It's certainly been a wonderful time having this chat with you, and I think everybody on the call got some very useful information. So I have nothing else to add. So unless you have any additional words that you'd like to share, I think we're at the end of our time.
I would
And I
like to
think
thank you,
additional
Sharon.
word too.
I would
Go ahead.
like to I would love to thank Sharon so much for moderating and for Commissioner Rogers for always looking out for your constituents and trying to bring them information. Thank you so much for having me this evening. Have a wonderful evening, everyone. See you all soon.
And thank you very much. And if you're a small business, my small business grant that will go out. I've been telling you that it's coming, it's coming. Yes, it's $2,500, but it's our micro grant. You don't have to pay it back. All you have to prove is that you're a business located here in Broward County. Sorry, Dulcie. In Broward County. You have to be in business for 2 years. You have to have less than 10 employees. You can't make more than 500,000. So it's really for those small businesses that need the help. All you have to do is produce your receipts, pay bills. It could be spent in April, May, or June, and you have $2,500 or more in expenses that you have proof, and you can qualify. First come, first serve. So don't forget that opens up on the 20th, and I've been sharing with you. Call my office. Make sure you have all of the information so you're one of the first businesses to qualify for that micro grant. So I'm glad I did not forget that.
Can I say something, please?
Go right ahead.
Okay. The main reason I come today to that Zoom meeting is because I'm going to something and I did put it on the chat, but it was ignored. So let me read it to you. I bought my townhouse last May. Before the closing, I had an inspection. The inspector reported that we have 2 more years of the roof. At the end of the year, time for renew, Citizen gave me a quote, and for some reason, they asked for another inspection. I missed that letter when the letter got in, so it was canceled. So now they want me to do another inspection, but with my insurance is with another company now. That is the what I was paying Citizen now is double. And I'm 72 years old on Social Security and pension. I can afford it. So
Okay, let me see. Let me see if I can take 2 minutes to get one of our experts to say, where do you go from here? Okay? And thank you for waiting.
I need help.
Sharon or Dulcie, anyone, you heard that? What would you recommend that this
So if I
resident?
heard correctly, she bought her townhouse. And at the time that you bought your townhouse, the inspection report said you had 2 years remaining life on your roof.
Correct.
Okay, when the policy went to renew, Citizens sent you a non-renewal notice that they were not going to renew you?
I need to have a new inspection
Okay,
because
okay, so you needed to have a new inspection to show the condition of your roof.
yes.
Correct, because the roof condition certification reports only are good for 12 months, and so are the 4-point inspections. They're only good for 12 months.
Oh,
So when you go to reapply with Citizens, you need a new report. And when they tell you that they need, before the renewal, that they need additional information, you need to provide that to them. If you fail to do so, they will not renew your policy. And yes, you're right. When you come in to reapply with Citizens, two things is going to happen. Your renewal discount, you lose that. And you come in as a new application with the new rates. So you lose your renewal discount and you get the new rates, and the rates went into effect in March. So that's what happened. That's why you saw there was an increase. I don't know if it
oh
was
Lord.
50, if it was 100% increase, because Citizens had a 13% rate increase. So if you had a 13% rate increase plus losing your renewal discount, which might have been 5 or 6%, you're looking at a 20% increase. And that's definitely a big hit. Unfortunately, there isn't anything that even your agent can do for that, but your agent can try to shop your insurance.
That's
Now,
what she, I'm sorry, that's what she did. That's what she did. Because when they did the new company still request the inspection, but it's double.
yeah.
Okay,
It is
we're
double what
trying
it
to
is.
help
And then
you.
at the same
Yolanda.
time, my mortgage was sold to another company.
So I'm
That's
gonna ask that you either email me or email Sharon with your situation, and we'll try to look into some information and get you some information as to what you can do.
I would appreciate that.
Okay,
okay.
Shalan?
Can I have the email again? Let me see if I wrote it correctly.
Okay.
Can I have your email again?
The email's in the chat. Mine is dulce.suarez-resnick. That's SUAREZRESNICK
Mm-hmm.
at Accentria, ACENTRIA.com.
ACEN.
TRIA.com.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank
Let
you
me
all.
learn one more thing by you.
No, no, no,
Let
no,
me
no, no,
learn one
no,
more
no.
thing by you.
Madame Pierre, Madame Pierre, Madame Pierre,
Yes.
we must go. We have another
Okay.
appointment.
I understand. I will send an
I love
email.
you. You
I
have
love
my
you too.
phone number also, okay?
Yes. Thank you.
You're very, very welcome.
All right. Thank you for the clarification because I don't understand why I have to have another one. Okay. Thank
Okay,
you. Have a good night.
you too. Thank you everyone for joining. Please share the information you gathered today. Please share it with your neighbors and friends. Please share with your condo board who did not join us. Okay? Thank
Okay.
you.
Bye, everyone. Thank you for tuning
Bye-bye.
in. Bye-bye.
Thank
Have a
you.
nice
Bye.
evening. Bye,
Thank
everyone.
you.